What's up, guys? We're here at MI40. I'm about 5 weeks out from North Americans. Got a deadlift session on tap today and some bench press, plus some RDLs and some other accessory stuff. So it was funny. I got 8 hours of sleep last night and I slept all the way through, which like never happens to me. And somehow I'm feeling like sluggish, which is so weird because usually I sleep for like 7 hours and I wake up during the night. So don't ask me to make my body make sense. It doesn't make sense, but see what's there today and hopefully have a really good productive training session. So let's get into it. Yep. Now it's time to give him something to say. That moved about how I want for last warm-up. Maybe a touch slower, but that's okay. So we're gonna load 650 today because we got about RPE 7 we're shooting for, and that should be about a 7. So see how it goes. Yeah! Let's get him! Wow, did everything wrong. Sometimes the strength isn't there or you're fatigued or whatever. That was purely fucking up position right from the beginning. And actually it still, once I broke the floor, it still moved okay. So not super upset about it considering just like how poorly I executed that lift. So that actually gives me some confidence because even if I get out of position, I can still pretty solidly pull 650. But hopefully we won't be getting out of position in the near future. Yeah, that was just, I'm gonna just chalk that up to, you know, a bad rep. What are you gonna do? So, but overall, it still moved probably not quite at an RPE 7, that was probably more like a 7.5. But, you know, didn't hurt anything. And, you know, we'll just say, because I separate, the bar got about, 3 inches away from my shin. So that was probably more like a 720-pound deadlift based on the torque that I just put on my body. But again, that was just an example of how to screw everything up. I was like here, and I'm like, okay, let's not worry about staying in position. Let's just get the bar off the floor, lock the knees early, and then let the back finish it. Good job, Blayne. Oh, ow. Just should have stayed home today, you know? Should have just stayed home today. So, hopefully this will be my opportunity to practice some technique and not shit the bed quite so badly. I think sometimes what happens is I actually get too in my head with too many cues of what I'm trying to do, instead of just like, I've done deadlifts a million times, just pull the damn thing. These kinds of sessions used to really upset me, and I would get very down on myself. You know, I'd be like, oh, I pulled less, or I pulled it terribly, or whatever it is. You know, powerlifting can be a real head game because you're very aware of what your best ever is. You're very aware of what you should be hitting on average. And, especially at my training age where I'm probably not gonna hit a whole lot of PRs in the gym, if any, it can be a real mind grind to have these days where either you feel not as strong or a little fatigued, or your technique, you can know all the right cues, and some days your body just does not want to do what you want it to do. And I think in the past, I would let that really frustrate me. And now, I don't want to pretend like it doesn't bother me. Obviously, I'd rather have a great session. But I think I've learned that, the likelihood is if I have a crap session this week, next week's going to be awesome. So, you try to learn to ride the wave rather than like go against the current, So my goal is I'm going to continue to show up and execute, put the work in, and if I can stay healthy, I trust that when it comes to meet day, I'm going to have what it takes. Because at the end of the day, whether I pull 640 or 650, my body doesn't really know that much difference of what stress that is. So it's more about getting those consistent reps in. Just, I don't know, some days, it's like popping and I feel like it's, just one movement. And other days it feels like 2 or 3 movements. And today it feels like 2 or 3 movements. So, still hit the weight I wanted to hit today. And quite honestly, close to the speed I wanted to hit it at. So I could be upset that I didn't execute it as well as I want, or, just take what we can get today. So we'll take what we can get today. Cannot breathe. So those are 165-pound dumbbells a piece. And I do them beltless because I've just found that if I go too heavy on barbell RDLs with a belt, it kind of triggers some of that back pain. So I found that if I go without a belt, go really heavy on dumbbells, I can do quite a bit of volume on that without it really causing that back pain to flare up. So that's what we're doing. Man, it is hard to friggin' breathe. So I'm supposed to stay about 2 to 3 reps shy of failure on this one. Definitely could have done 2 more reps. So we'll see how I feel in this last set. Pump out another rep. It's funny. When I was younger, you can lift at the same percentage of your 1 rep max. So when I was younger, if I was doing RDLs for 10 reps, maybe I was doing, 100-pound RDLs. And I can tell you, like, let's say that was, 80% of my 1 rep max, and this is 80%, just for arbitrary sake. The level of fatigue is not comparable. I do think total tonnage matters. And one of the issues with getting strong is once you get to a certain level of strength, you're able to put so much more stress on your body because your body's adapted to that. But also, it's still a lot of stress. And so, one of the things I've really been doing is really trying to focus on proper recovery. I think before, in my life, I got away with a lot and kind of started to feel like I was Superman. And then life came and smacked me in the face. So I'm really trying to be more diligent with, you know, getting 7-8 hours of sleep a night, trying to manage my stress, you know, and not taking on way too much, which is a problem for me. I have a hard time saying no. And for you youngsters out there and those who want to be entrepreneurs or you know, be in an athletic endeavor, you're gonna have to learn to say no a lot. In fact, a lot of times the more successful you get, the harder and harder it gets, because now your time, you have to be so protective of it. And there may be some stuff that seems like a good opportunity. Sometimes you gotta pass up good opportunities because they're not great opportunities. And that's certainly one thing I've had to learn in my life, is not every good opportunity is an opportunity worth taking. And I'm still learning that to this day. Target for that single was RPE 6 to RPE 7. That was right out of 7 based on the speed. So happy with that. That is right where we want to be. So now we've got 4 sets of back offs with 77% of my estimated 1 rep max, and doing each of those sets to an RPE 7. So basically stopping 3 reps shy of failure on each of those sets. So we'll see what my estimated 1 rep max is. 382 times 0.775, and we get 295. So, and that was perfect. So 6 reps there, and the last rep was at my speed that should correlate with an RPE 7. So it's hard with these like reps RPEs, because you can have a rep, especially on bench press, where you feel really solid, really good, and then the next one you grind it. So that was almost exactly what I was looking for, so happy with that. But can't breathe. All right, guys, that was my deadlift and bench press workout today. Just over 5 weeks out from North Americans and Caymans. Not my favorite session I've ever had. Definitely was not getting into position appropriately on deadlift, but sometimes it goes that way. And overall, you know, the weight still moved okay, all things considered, especially considering how poorly I executed the lift. So some days it's just not going to be there the way you want it. Some days you don't feel as strong, some days you're tired. I think in today's case I was a little bit tired, but also I just couldn't get my body to move the way I wanted it to freaking move. But then RDLs went really well, hit a PR on those. 176-pound dumbbells for 10 reps on my last set. Happy about that. There's a lot of volume for the lower back, which is good. Then hit a pretty solid bench press. Not a PR by any means, but a really solid number for 340 at an RPE 7, so I'm really happy about that. And you know, we're just gonna keep putting the work in. That's the biggest thing. Don't get too high, don't get too low. You know, just keep steady putting that work in, and I trust, you know, in 5 weeks, when I step on the platform, it's gonna be there when I need it. So I'm definitely gonna need it, because the 2 other guys in my class are very tough guys. Mike Garazzo, who got second at Nationals, pushed me to the last deadlift. And then Gabriel Garcia, who I beat last year at Worlds, 3-time world champion. Rut row. So guys, we're doing it, how they did back in the medieval days when they were videoing workouts. We're having our iPhones, light me up. We just lost power here. Like I said, there's some July storms in Tampa. But, overall, feeling really good. Just going to continue to put that work in. If you guys like the shirt I had on today, this is our new Outwork Freedom Flag shirts. Make sure to go to outworknutrition.com, pick up one of these, as well as our pre-workout and recovery products. And I hope you guys have a great week, and I will catch you next week.